As of recent, Solana's price has been getting absolutely destroyed. I mean, it's down nearly 10% just in the last 24 hours and down nearly 35% within the last month, leaving a lot of investors wondering what in the world is going on and what does the future of Solana even look like at this point. And so in today's video, I want to kind of focus in on Solana a little bit and tell you exactly what I'm seeing from Solana's price, from the news, from a fundamental perspective, and what I am expecting next. And so with that said, let's not waste any more time at all. And let's first and foremost kind of look at what is going on with Solana. Well, what you can see here is that a lot of the momentum and a lot of the growth that Solana put in towards the end of that crazy rally at the end of last year has basically just been evaporated. Solana fell all the way from 250 bucks all the way down to currently $166. As I mentioned before, now roughly 37% in the red in the last month, nearly 16 to 17% in the red in the last 7 days, and 10% within the last day. Now, you may be wondering, why in the world is Solana getting beat up so bad? Because sure, the rest of the market is kind of down today, right? You see Bitcoin's down a little bit, ETH, XRP, but you can quite obviously see Solana is taking much more of an L than the rest of the market. And it really gets broken down into three different things. The first piece of news, or the first reason as to why Solana is struggling so much, is of course uncertainty around the FTX auctions, which I will talk about in a second. In addition to that, there are meme coin scams that have been diminishing Solana's credibility over the last month. And then lastly, of course, there's been a macro loss of retail interest that is impacting Solana as well. So let's kind of digest these three things a little bit. So the first piece of news, the biggest piece of news, the thing that I think is impacting Solana the most right now is, again, the uncertainty revolving around the FTX auctions. What we can know is that, of course, in March, on March 1st, there's going to be 11.2 million Solana unlocking from the FTX bankruptcy. As you all know, one of the reasons why Solana's price did fall so much to begin with, the reason why, look, let's go back here. The reason why we did see this huge sell-off from, back in 2021 all the way down to, of course, $10, $11, $12 was because of the FTX situation. FTX was, man, were they a big holder of Solana tokens. They had a huge percentage of the supply. If my memory serves me well, it was anywhere from 9 to 12%. And obviously when FTX went bankrupt, many people got very scared. Like, oh snap, is that going to mean that, Solana's price is just going to tank because they're going to sell it all off? What does that look like? Well, a lot of that uncertainty kind of just got pushed into the future. Many of us said, we'll deal with it when we get there. Well, we're here, right? A lot of these tokens are going to start unlocking soon. And does this mean that what they're going to do is they're just going to go and take all of these 11.2 million Solana, which is like $2 billion worth of SOL, and sell it on the open market? No, obviously not. What they're very likely going to do is auction this off in OTC or private deals, in which other venture capitalists can come in and they can buy those tokens from the FTX estate, and then obviously they can do whatever they want with them. For example, we of course did see Galaxy Digital, if I remember correctly, they bought some Solana around $66, and then Pantera, if I remember correctly, they bought it roughly closer to $90 or $95 per token. These are two venture capitalist firms who've been buying, hundreds of millions of dollars worth of Solana, and they kind of just store it. Now, the uncertainty comes from, though, what are these VCs going to do with those tokens? Because no, FTX is not, FTX estate is not going to just go and start selling it on the open market. That's a stupid idea. Why? Because you think about it. If they take $2 billion and they sell it on the open market, every time they sell one, the price is going to go down. And so they're not going to be able to get the best bang for their buck. The best thing they can do is sell it to VCs for maybe a little bit of a discounted price in order to lock in prices, right? So that's not what people are scared of. What people are scared of is what are the VCs going to do with theirs, right? Because look at it. I caught it out the corner of my eye here. You can see it here, right? Where was it? I saw it just a second ago. Yeah, boom. So Pantera, for example, bought 13.67 million Solana at $95 per token, resulting in a 93% return rate. So when you think about it, like someone like Pantera, they're going to have it's not 90% anymore. It has to be, 60, 70, something like that. But now they have a 60, 70% return. That's millions of dollars, right? And people are wondering, what do they do? Are they going to just start selling it? Are they going to take their profits? Because quite frankly, Solana's not looking that hot over the last couple months. And then in addition to that, people don't know whether or not this is the end of the bull run or not. And so they're like, man, are these VCs just going to start locking in that profit and selling at mass? That's the game. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know, guys. I don't know what their game plan is going to be. What I will say, though, is that these companies were willing to buy Solana and they were willing to do these OTC deals and raise money to be able to make it happen in a period where everyone hated Solana. If you were here on my channel back in 2022, like the end of 2022, you remember how me, Invest Answers, and two other people were the only ones who had a positive outlook on Solana back then. Everybody else just hated it. And these companies around a similar time frame were willing to buy, and they were willing to raise money and put their neck on the line to buy some Solana. And what that means to me is they do have faith in the tech. They do believe in it. They do think that it has potential. And so to me, it makes me feel like This was an opportunity for them to accumulate some Solana at cheaper prices because they actually want it, and a little bit less because they just wanted to make a quick buck. Now, obviously, they're VCs, they're sharks, they're greedy. They're going to take some profits. It wouldn't shock me at all, but I don't think they're going to sell it all. That's just a speculative guess, though. I'm not quite sure. My goal here isn't to try to predict the future, it's just to tell you what's going on, right? And that's where the uncertainty lies. People don't know what these VCs are going to do as we continue to see billions of dollars worth of Solana unlocking, as FTX does, of course, start paying out its investors and stuff like that. Now, in addition to this, and I'll talk a little bit more about this in like a week or so as we do get closer to the unlock. But for now, just again, no, this is why people are selling. This is why people are getting out. It's because they're scared of the result of this. Now, in addition to this, of course, meme coins and scams diminishing credibility. What do I mean by that? Well, as you all know, we saw some pretty dang big on news here recently that Libra token and Melania were linked together. And what this means is that these big meme coins that are launched by Melania Trump and Donald Trump and Libra, I think that was Argentina if I remember correctly. There was another scam that happened with some country launching a meme coin, whatever. Another rug pull as per usual. And there was a link between the two, and they were all based on Solana. And so now there's a lot of speculation. Like there's this big, like, it's not the Solana Foundation themselves. It's not like the actual company Solana. It's just people doing dumb shit on Solana's blockchain, right? And it's causing a lot of people to be like, man, like Solana's just a casino of like just in rug pulls, quite frankly. It's like all people do. All Solana's been known for recently is how bad Trump did, how bad Melania did, how bad Libra did. And like there's just a bunch of rug pulls and scams, and you got Adam 22 and all these other people who are scamming their fans all on Solana, right? And so when you have so many scams associated with your blockchain, when people hear about it, they're just going to think that you're a scam chain, right? And it diminishes the credibility of the blockchain itself. And that can get a little bit frustrating. Sorry, I don't know what just happened with the camera there, but that can get a little bit frustrating because it's not particularly Solana's fault, right? They're not going out there and saying, hey, Donald Trump, launch your meme token on us. No, people are just looking at Solana like, okay, well, this is the people's blockchain. This is the blockchain dedicated to the people. Therefore, I'm going to launch it on Solana. And then when they do some dumb shit, then it reflects badly on Solana. So it is a bit frustrating. I'm not quite sure exactly what Solana could do to stop it, quite frankly. I think obviously things like pump.fun definitely made things much worse. But I think if we're going to be in a world of decentralization, you can't start asking Solana to be more of a centralized entity and say, oh, we'll ban pump.fun, which doesn't make sense. But you get the point, right? So it just kind of sucks. They're just a victim of the nature of the market, right? And a lot of people have lost that faith in them. And then in addition to that as well, another thing that I didn't mention, which just kind of falls into the same line, a realm of things, is that there's been a huge loss of retail interest in the macro crypto market. As many of you know, I made a video just yesterday talking about the fact that crypto investors are giving up. And we talked about just how many retail investors are leaving the market. We're seeing retail falling off a cliff. People just don't care anymore. And the thing about that is you have to understand that, again, Solana is the people's blockchain, right? And so when people stop caring, what are they going to do? They're going to sell, they're going to get out, they're going to leave, and that's obviously going to negatively impact Solana. And so because of these three major reasons, I believe that people are just kind of giving up on Solana. They're losing faith. They don't see a possible future here. They don't think anything beneficial is going to come from Solana. They think the run is over. And couldn't they be right? Sure, they could be right. I mean, Solana led the run, guys. I mean, Solana ran all the way from down here, right? I mean, we saw Solana run from $8 all the way to $280 during one of the most weak bull markets we've ever seen before. We saw Solana push over 3,000 percentage points. And so is it possible that this is the end of the run for Solana? Yeah, it definitely is possible. Does Tyler Hill think it's the end of the run for Solana? No, not particularly. I think that if we do continue to see the bull run itself continue, I think Solana will continue as well. But probably the best of the gains are behind us. And I've told you this is not breaking news. I've told you this several times already. I've told you the best of Solana's gains are probably behind us for this run. It put in 3,500% in gains. We, of course, many of us here on the channel were doing purchasing way down here. We locked in those profits all in this little top area, and that is what it is. But do I think that Solana can still push to, $400 or $500 under the right circumstances? Yeah, 100%. My general thesis hasn't changed, and from a technical perspective, it still shows me this is possible. Solana is still sitting above the macro golden zone. It's still sitting above the macro golden pocket. It's still maintaining higher highs and higher lows. It's not broken market structure. It did set the macro higher high. We're seeing a full macro reset from its daily RSI. We're seeing a pretty sizable reset here from its weekly RSI to a point in which we've not been to realistically since way back here. So there is still a technical opportunity for Solana Solana's price to continue upwards. Is it going to look like that? Probably not. It would, maybe it does come all the way back down to $120 or something like that, and then try to continue upwards. That's possible. So no, I don't think that this is if the bull market does continue, I don't think it's just the end of days for Solana. But obviously, if the bear market's here, if it's starting right now, then yes, Solana's probably going to struggle. Solana coming back to $40 or $50 wouldn't shock me. I just don't particularly think that's the case yet. I've not been shown anything that makes me think that yet, but that's just my own personal speculative belief. Now, I will tell you, from more of a fundamental perspective, there are also things that paint that picture as well. When you look at Solana's liquidation map, for example, look at what people are doing. Everyone's lost hope on Solana. There are some longs that can still be liquidated around $160 or so roughly, but for the most part, everybody's just shorting it. Everybody thinks that it's going to go down. Everybody's betting it's going back towards 100, 120 bucks, leaving this upside liquidation map huge to the upside. I mean, look, there's what is that? Cumulative $1.2 billion worth of liquidations that'll happen if Solana returns back up to the $200, $220 level. And so in periods like this where everyone thinks that it's going to go down, bad news is forcing the price to go down, and everybody's jumping ship. That's usually the time where I swim against the tide and I do actually start doing some buying, and that is actually what I decided to do. As you can see here earlier this morning, I did add about $75 worth of Solana to my beginner portfolio, the one that I started here on the channel not too long ago, this one right here a couple days ago. Yeah, so I did add a little bit to it. I bought a little Bitcoin as well, but I mainly focused in on that. My big focus was, of course, Solana, because when everybody's selling because of bad news, that's usually start to imply that some sort of bottom could be on the way. Maybe it's not there yet, but it could definitely be on the way. And so I did do a little bit of buying on Solana here, and I'm just going to kind of leave it and just see what happens. The lower we go, the more buying I probably will do. And I'm aware, guys, listen, I even told them over here in this portfolio, right? I started building this portfolio at what could be the top of the bull market. So if I buy a little Solana right here, I'm aware that if the bear market starts and Solana comes down here, I'm literally buying very close to the top. I just don't care. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I just don't care. If it goes down, I'll just buy more. I'm leaving so much cash on the sidelines in this portfolio. I mean, look at this. Look at the cash percentage. I have $8,800 in cash in comparison to only $1,125 invested. I got so much cash that I can easily build up this position an absolute ton. So it doesn't matter to me. I'm not buying Solana right now in my main portfolio, which my average cost is $30, but I'm willing to play the game right now with the beginner portfolio. And so with that in mind, that's kind of what I'm doing. That's kind of how I'm feeling. I'm not too stressed about it. Every time we get really bad pieces of news that just force Solana's price to just absolutely tank, it usually does result in some sort of relief, some sort of recovery in which Solana's price will try to recover, very similar to what we saw back there. And so I'm just going to kind of play it out, let us see how it goes. My main portfolio, I'm leaving it alone. My beginner portfolio, I did dollar cost averaging a little bit because my average cost was obviously back around $190 or so, and we'll just kind of see how it does play out. Now, if you guys do want to be able to see real time when I am doing updates to this beginner portfolio, other insights from me, my thoughts and more, my trades that I'm making, whatever it may be, we have a bunch of stuff over here for you over in the school. If you do want access to the school, you're going to get access to me, Connor Kenny, Aaron Bennett, what Connor's doing, Coach Aaron, Coach Luis, Coach Bulls, John. We have so many people in here. We have a team of professional traders giving trade signals every day. We have daily technical analysis, deep dives. We have daily TA and fundamental analysis. We have a whole bunch of stuff. And the whole point of it realistically is just to help people generate strategies, because strategies are where real gains are made. And I'm not talking about little gains. I'm talking about big gains. Gains in which in the last 24 hours, we're seeing hundreds of percentages of gains, thousands, tens of thousands of dollars in gains being printed even on a day like today and yesterday, which quite frankly hasn't even been good. I mean, we can go look at just today. This is just less than an hour ago, 90% gain, 450% gain, 70% gain. It's ridiculous. And the reason why is because we focus on strategy, which is why it's called the Crypto Strategy School. So if you do want to check that out, the link will be in the description below. You can join for either $5, $17, or $100 a month. I'll leave a link for you there down below. And if you do want to do some trading today on a very clean and easy to use platform, feel free to check out the link to CoinW, which I did put in the description down there as well. This is a platform I've been doing some practice trades on a ton recently, because when I do start trading again, I need something very clean and easy to use. And this is one of my top picks. And if you do use my specific affiliate link down below, you can get up to $30,000 in bonuses and rewards, all of which is explained to you on the link, again, in the description. So feel free to go check those two things out. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at TylerHillYT if you want some extra analysis and all this good stuff throughout the day. And of course, just stay frosty. This is going to be a scary time in the market. It's not going to feel fun. But if you stick to your strategies and if you stick to your game plan, you'll be more than fine. Okay. And so with that in mind, of course, you guys know I'll try to go live a couple times a week. I try to post videos every single day. So if you have been enjoying, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and I can't wait to see you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody.